First, however, breast cancer screenings can save lives. No dispute there. However, not everyone has the access or even the resources to get those tests. Well, now St. Barnabas Hospital is rolling out a brand new mammography van. It serves low-income neighborhoods in the South Bronx, hard-to-reach communities where many are Latina immigrants. And in a few minutes, we'll talk with Dr. Ivette Vigoda, an oncologist at St. Barnabas Hospital, and Maricel Cruz, who is in the radiology department. This is her baby. But first, our senior medical reporter, Dr. Jay Adlersberg, shows us what the van is all about.
It's a welcome sight in the community. New and state-of-the-art, the Mobile Mammography van replaces the old one that broke down for good 2 years ago.
They can come right up to the bus, they can knock on the door and basically get the service done.
This potentially life-saving service makes it easier for women to be screened for breast cancer.
If these vans are available, people are more apt to go up to it.
Carmen Sanchez used to skip getting a mammogram because it wasn't convenient, but not anymore.
It's close to my house. I don't gotta walk or take the train or anything like that.
Today, the van is parked at East 149th Street. About twice a week, it heads out to health fairs or can be found outside of places like apartment buildings, beauty parlors, and houses of worship.
This is the best education tool that we have to reach these women, to have the available service in the community, where they work, where they shop, where they live.
The van serves low-income neighborhoods in the South Bronx, hard-to-reach communities where many women are immigrants. Some have never even had a mammogram. Others are afraid to get one because of their immigration status.
Many of our patients are uninsured or underinsured. They're poor. So we are reaching a lot of patients.
In addition, an emphasis is placed on making sure women get follow-up diagnostic care if a suspicious lump is found.
We literally go after them and make sure that they are receiving the follow-up care that they need.
This is Dr. Jay Adlersberg, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Well, here now to talk about the importance of breast cancer screenings and this state-of-the-art van is Dr. Ivette Vigoda, an oncologist at St. Barnabas Hospital, and Maricel Cruz, who also works with the program. Bienvenidos. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
10 years you've had the van now, but this is a new van that replaces an old one, correct?
That's correct.
What does the new van do that the old van couldn't do?
Well, the new van is equipped with a state-of-the-art digital mammography unit.
Yes.
And it gives very high detailed images that the radiologist can pinpoint.
I think Dr. J stressed it, but we can't stress it enough, the importance of having mammography exams.
It's extremely important, especially for the women at average age with average risk for having breast cancer. It starts at 4 years. The screening should start along with breast clinical examination, and it basically saves lives. It does.
Yeah.
So having this like next to your house, next to where you shop, where you are, it's incredible.
Do you see a lot of people like Carmen Sanchez, the lady we saw in the piece there?
Definitely, most definitely.
And what do they tell you, Maricel, when they come in the van?
Actually, they're very happy with the new van because they're familiar with the older one.
Sure.
And they like the idea that the van is there for them and that it's done in less than 10 minutes. The digital equipment is fast.
Are you convinced, Maricel, that the people you serve with the van are in many cases women who would not otherwise have a mammography exam?
Yes, I am, especially in the case that most women are busy taking care of their families and they don't want to take the time for themselves. With the van, they come in, they actually knock on the door and ask if they can have a mammogram.
Wow. So walk-ins is what you get, right?
We take them too.
Just like you're at the beauty parlor. You know, I don't have an appointment, pero aquí estoy, you know, right?
That's right.
Yes. How many people do you serve, whether it's weekly, monthly? You give me the figures, annually. Dígame.
Well, annually it could be up to 5,000 a week, and on each day we can do 20 to 25.
And I think one of the most important things that I heard in Dr. J's piece, and follow up on this, if an exam finds a lump or something that you as the oncologist is worried about, you go after the women.
Exactly.
Correct? We
go after them. So it's very important because they get the mammogram and they're not going to get lost to follow-up. They're going to be chased after, you know. Somebody's going to follow up on this result. They're going to call their primary care physicians. They're going to send a letter to them, and they're going to be hooked up with the immediate medical care that they must.
Because what's the fear if you don't do the follow-up?
I mean, if you don't do the follow-up, these people get lost. They don't know what this is, and then this can evolve into a cancer, which is going to kill you eventually.
Let me rephrase it for Maricel. What's the fear if you don't go after them? Is that they won't take the initiative on their own?
We're afraid that they'll fall through the cracks. They won't take the initiative, and we're very persistent. We keep calling them, and if they don't comply, then we get a hold of the doctor and say, listen, this patient needs to come back.
I want to ask you about seguro, insurance, and other questions, undocumented women. We'll talk about that in a moment when we come back. More on St. Barnabas's new high-tech mammography van. We've already explained how important it is. Still ahead on Tiempo. Welcome back. We're talking about the importance of breast cancer screenings, and now there's a new mammography van that specifically reaches out to women in low-income neighborhoods in the Bronx. We're joined by Dr. Ivette Vigoda, an oncologist at St. Barnabas Hospital, and Maricel Cruz, who works in the radiology department at the hospital, and the van is her baby. She'll tell you about that in a minute. You guys specifically target Latina women. Why?
Well, we don't specifically target Latino women. We have a very large population of Latinos, but the mammography van is open for everybody.
Understood, but you make an aggressive effort, maybe I phrased it badly, to make sure that you address Latina women.
Yes.
Por ejemplo, the people who work in the van, ¿hablan español?
Sí.
Yes.
Yeah, they all speak Spanish, correct?
Yes, they speak Spanish, and also we specifically go to the Latina woman also because, again, I have to emphasize that they don't feel they need to take the time for themselves.
Yes.
And it's very important for us to emphasize to them that they have to take care of themselves first. And this is something I'm constantly drumming into them.
Pero Maricel, do you find that that's a cultural
That's a cultural thing.
obstacle?
Yes, it is.
Que mami quiere estar en casa. She wants to take care of the family,
Yes.
and often she puts herself second,
But
correct?
once you explain it to them, they'll go, yes, you're right. And then they cooperate.
Okay.
And it's very important that we all have like Spanish-speaking people, the doctors, starting from the techs, from everybody, because it gets the message much easier to them.
Not only gets the message across, but I think eases the comfort level.
Of course.
That finally I can speak to someone in my language and who can properly explain to me what the exam revealed or what it didn't reveal. Cost is a concern. I would presume many people don't want to go because they think it's going to cost a lot of money. If I show up and I don't have insurance, ¿qué pasa?
And that's a good thing because it's free for people who are uninsured.
Free for people who are uninsured?
Yes.
Okay. And if you do have insurance?
We accept the insurance.
And the paperwork is done?
On the van.
In the van?
In the van,
Okay.
and the registration is completed in the hospital, but it's done in the van.
I would assume many women don't come forward because they're undocumented. How do you overcome the hurdles and assure them that confidentiality is...
We explain to them that we're only interested, our goal is to bring the service to them and have them have a mammogram, and we don't share their information, that it's perfectly okay for them to do this.
Nobody asks questions, it's just they go there, they get their test, and that's basically it. And of course, we get the information to how to contact them, but we're not going to share this information with anybody.
Is that often enough to convince them to have the exam?
I think it is, and it's proven through all this time that it's working, that it has caught a lot of people and they feel very comfortable. So I think they shouldn't be afraid of this. They should just come forward and do their exam.
And
which
they tell their
is
friends.
important.
They do?
Yes.
I would suggest, or I would think, that the younger generation often goes back and gets abuela and brings her.
Yes,
right?
they do.
Because she's the one who perhaps has the most hesitation, shall we say.
And they also bring their friends. We've had a few of them that bang on the door and they say, I had it done and I want her to have it done, and they scold their friend while they're doing it.
I mean, you guys are saving lives, especially with that sort of proactive approach. I love the fact that you park the van outside a beauty parlor, salon de belleza. I just think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And why is that a good place to set up shop?
Well, women love to go to beauty parlors.
Of course, yeah.
So they go outside, there's a van, so it's very easy to go there. They don't need an appointment, they just go knock on the door, and then we're doing it on Ferris too, right?
Yes.
So it's creating more conscious, I think, and that's very important.
The van often goes to events,
fairs?
Yes, we get requests for events that occur on like a Saturday or Sunday. Of course, that has to be arranged in advance, but we do accommodate them, and we get many calls.
I'm imagining people at home are saying, okay, I'm putting together an event, I'm putting together a fair, I'd love for the van to come to my place. There's a phone, is it as simple as a phone call?
Yes, all they have to do is call 718-960-3931.
Ahí está el número. Okay.
And they will arrange it with you.
All right, and how do you find out where the van is going to be in advance if you want to be proactive and not so much wait for a walk-in appointment, but find out ahead of time where the van might be? Is there a way you can do that?
They can also call that number, and they will tell them exactly where they'll be, and they can walk on.
All right, and the van is on the road how many weeks a year?
We are out Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sundays for special events.
Okay, and the van is there for hours? A whole day event?
They're out there probably until like 2, 3 o'clock, and there are times that they're asked, they request the van for like 7 up until 7 o'clock, but that's a special situation.
Doctor, I don't want to miss the opportunity to ask you, because this is often a point of confusion. At what age should people start getting mammography exams?
Again,
ladies?
for an average risk patient, which it's basically most of the population.
Everyone?
It starts at 4 years.
40?
40 years. So people might think it can start later. It's very important they start getting their mammography annually, on an annual basis at the age of 40.
If you find that you're high risk, and what would be a definition of someone who's at high risk?
Well, high risk is people who have a history, like a strong family history, first-degree relatives, or a personal history of abnormal lesions on the breast. So those people need to start earlier, and they don't need a screening mammogram. They need more like a more advanced test with a radiologist.
And they should go more frequently, correct? Instead of annually, is it 6 months?
They have an interval time that they're told to follow, but it's not as a screening test. It's done more directly as another type of test.
Diagnostic.
It's
At the hospital.
not diagnostic, yeah.
Ladies, un placer. Gracias. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
and
for having us.
continued success with the van, because it's such an important tool, especially for the Latino community.
Thank
okay.
you.
Coming up next on Tiempo.